Hey there, thanks for tuning in. I'm Ramon Newman, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to have more capacity as a leader so that you can make more of those right decisions at the right time. I'm going to give you a few examples and so you have a clear idea why this is so important. So first of all, back in the early 80s there was a company called Quaker Oats, which still exists today, and they ended up acquiring a company called Gatorade, which you probably know as the sports beverage company. So they acquired Gatorade for about $220 million. They grew that brand, Gatorade, to about $3 billion. Very successful outcome for them. And then 10 years later, they had another opportunity to buy another beverage company called Snapple. And so they ended up acquiring Snapple, which was the iced tea company, for about $1.8 billion. Now, 3 or 4 years later, they ended up having to sell Snapple for $300 million. So they made a loss of about $1.5 billion on that deal. So what allowed a CEO to make a great decision in one decade and then another decade not make such a great decision? Well, what it comes down to is that we're all in the field of change and action and reaction. And because of that, there are some time cycles where we're really well supported. There's a lot of good, positive things going on, and we make the right decision at the right time. And then there's other times when we're in periods that are not so favorable towards us. And those periods when we're dealing with not that maximum support that we could have, and we have to kind of lay low a little bit and neutralize maybe that negativity or those obstacles and blocks that are going on. And this is why it's so important for CEOs to develop more of their capacity, continuously develop it, because the data of yesterday is not necessarily the data that's going to make you successful today. And this is why CEOs have to be able to not be so based on a spreadsheet, which is really a reaction to what's happened, and then making decisions based on that so much, but also being able to have the capacity to influence the future and know what's going on right now and whether a business has the capacity to make something work or not. So based on my experience working with CEOs, we've had a CEO we work with, in the first year we worked with him, he was awarded the best CEO in his country, did a lot of successful business that year. We were really happy for him. And then he decided that he wanted to have a break from us, which is fine by us because we're not attached to anyone or anything, and because we know that the value that we're bringing to people. And so we had that break, and then 5 months later we checked in with him and he said to us, look, I don't know what's going on, but my deals aren't working like they were last year. And so we kind of explained to him a few things, and we've been working with him ever since. And he's realized that we're helping him have that capacity, which in turn helps you to make more of those right decisions at the right time. And this company's achieved over 400% growth in revenues and profits over the last 7-8 years. Another example is that we had a client who we forewarned. We said, because of the knowledge and techniques and technology we have, we forewarned him. We said, look, there's a period coming up. It's not so favorable for your business. It would be better to just keep things simple and lay low until that period passes. You know, it's like a bad weather pattern. You don't want to go out in a bad weather pattern. You want to just lay low until it passes, and then do the positive or progressive things after that. So he said, no, it's okay. We're actually partnering with this other company, and we're going to become a stronger company, and we're going to grow the market that way. And we said, okay, fine. That's fine. We'll see what happens. So 6 months later, he ends up having to liquidate his business and actually sell it to the people that we're going to partner to for very little. And he loses about $80 million worth of business. Now, he became very receptive to what we were saying. Unfortunately, it was retroactive. And fortunately, he's been able to bounce back to regain his 8-figure fortune. So what they've found is that in a survey of about 3,000 executives, that those top executives in various fields, they were very inept at using their intuition when making decisions. They were looking at the facts and what the possibilities were. At the same time, they were very in tune. They had the capacity to be very in tune with their intuition and what that was saying. So, for example, one of our clients, very good at mergers and acquisitions, and often he'll hear all the facts about a company, and then he'll just be very quiet in a meeting and being able to kind of process what's been said, and then he'll be really feeling in himself, how he thinks about the company, how he thinks about the leadership, and whether he thinks it's the right thing for right now. And often, we all know that our gut can inform us of a lot. And so we have to take that subjective side of decision making with that objective side of decision making and ensure that is the right thing for right now. Now, as you develop more capacity as a leader within yourself to have more intuitive power, then what happens is you're able to know when you're able to maximize on the positive periods, and you're also able to know how to minimize on the not so favorable periods. And ultimately, capacity can help you do both, right? And in fact, sometimes if a CEO is developed enough in their capacity and the intuitive powers of what's really going on and what's the right thing to do in the right moment, then even a negative period they can spin into a positive period. So that's the thing to be aware of. And any comments or questions or your experiences on this, love to hear them.